Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a long video of this beautiful design that I recreated for my client's pre-wedding photo shoot. As you can see, the design on her and on the mannequin as well, looking all beautiful and detailed. So along with me in this video, and this is just the back view of the design, looking also beautiful. Guys, you're going to learn a lot in this video. Ensure to stay to the end. Let's get started. These are the materials I'll be using for this tutorial. I have my measuring tape, my scissors, my pattern that I have already drafted. I have a video on my channel on how to draft a corset pattern. I'll link it somewhere on the screen or in the description box below. This is the beautiful lace I'll be using for this. It's so beautiful. I love just the flowers on the body as well as the color. This is the lining I'll be using. It's a doll face satin lining, so this is the zip I will also use for this. I went ahead to cut out the down part of this dress because the lace wasn't enough, so I'm going to have a joining at the down part. I'm just trying to manage the fabric, so I'm just cutting it all the way down like this, and I'm going to keep it aside. So I needed to cut the front before I will cut the remaining down for the back. So this is me folding the front and I'm placing it here, and as you can see, it wasn't enough, so I had to reposition it this way to cut the front. And this is me placing the front lining on top of the lace. I like cutting on my lining first before cutting directly on the lace. So this is me cutting out the lace on the lining. Yes, so this is it, and I went ahead to fold it, and I'm cutting the remaining down part of the back. Ensure to watch to the end so you can see how I joined the lace together for the down part. So this is me cutting the lace for the corset area and the back as well. While I was done cutting it, I went ahead to fold my hair stay. So this is me cutting the hair stay, and this is everything I already cut out. I cut out the front for the net area, I cut out the back, the corset area, and this is just everything we need for this project for the upper part. So on my sewing machine, I'm just going to start the joining. So to join this now, I'm going to unpin them. I'll start from the bust area. I like doing the bust first, so I'll start from this bust area. I've already ironed the hair stay to the lining as well, so this is me just unpinning it and matching them all together, the center front to the side front and the other center front to the side front as well. So after placing them up together, I pinned them just to hold the lace and the lining together. I'm placing it this way, and I'm just trimming off the excess lace around it, and I'm just going to join it this way. I will make sure the bust points where I notched match up with each other and it gets to the other end as well. So this is me matching up and sewing this. I'm just going to do the same thing for the other bust area. I will join the lining piece and press seams open, then show you what it looks like. So I've pressed the seams open for the lining and the main piece as well. I'll bring in the cup I'm working with. So this is the bra cup I'm working with. It's size 36. I'm just going to notch the center and I'm going to attach it to the bust. So this is me pinning everything. I have a separate video on my channel, just like a short video on how I did this, so you can also watch it for more details. So this is me pinning it and just making sure it arranges very well, and I'm just going to sew around it there. So I did the same thing for the both bust area, and this is it. So I'll keep it aside and bring in the regling bow. This is it here, and this is the back pattern. I'm just going to bone the back. So to achieve this, I'm going to measure 2 inches in between just to get the boning line. So I'm using the invisible boning technique or pattern to achieve this. I have a video on my channel on how to do this as well. I will also link it to the description box or somewhere on the screen right now, so you go check it out, guys. So this is everything I worked on. This is it here. looking all neat. I'm just trimming off the excess lace I have around the lining. Remember, I used the lining to cut the main measurement for this dress. So this is the down part of the back. So I've already joined this other side, and this is how I'm going to join this one. Just follow what I'm doing. I'm just placing the other down part on top of it. I'm not joining it like joining your bust area. No, I'm placing them on top of each other just to stitch it so that it won't be so obvious that there was a joining there. So I'm going to stitch one line first to the other end, then I will come back and stitch the other line again to the other end as well. Just follow what I am doing right now. After that, I'll go ahead to turn the lining piece to the lace fabric as well. I went ahead to encase the wriggling bone using tool. I have a separate video on my channel on how to do this. I'll link it on the description box or somewhere on the screen, so you go check it out. So I'm opening up the net for the front, and I'm just trying to make everything to align together. So I'm placing it on each other. I think it's about 4 pieces here. So after doing this right now, I'm just making sure everything is okay. I'm going to stitch it side by side, stitching this side all the way down, and I'll stitch the other side all the way down just to hold the 4 net piece together. At this point, I'm stitching the wriggling bone that I already encased. I'm just stitching it on top of the net. So this is the way I'm doing it, and I will go ahead to do all other parts of it just on top of it, just sewing it on top of it, just in a straight line. So I'll do this to other parts of it, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is the outcome when I was done stitching them. This is the front part of it. So I'm just going to sew our cup just to turn the upper part. So I'm just placing it, the lining to the main piece, front facing front, and I'm going to stitch on the upper part of it. I'll stitch around it there and do the same thing for the other side as well. Make sure that the center that line matches with the lining piece as well while sewing yours. After sewing, I'm just going to top stitch it. So I'm top stitching it to the lining piece just this way that I'm doing now. So you can decide to use the hemming gum to do the top stitching, yeah, so that it can lap very well when you're done ironing it. So you can decide to put it this way, or you turn it using the hemming gum, or you can also decide to turn everything, top stitch it, and then press the hemming gum inside of it. So this is just the way I'm doing this one. Then the other one, I'm just going to put the hemming gum inside while ironing it. So I went ahead to loosen one of the curve that I've already stitched. I remember that I was supposed to put in the net inside. I will cross over to the back. So I'm just going to sew the net on top of it. This is the net I'm going to use, which is serve as a sleeve part of this dress. So I'm just going to fold the net this way, and I'm just going to ruffle it or plait it on this upper part of the bust area. And after doing the, I will now use the lining piece to turn it over. So I'm just sewing it along this way, then I'll use the lining piece to turn the upper part over. So this is the outcome when I was done stitching the net and turning it with the lining piece. So I'm just going to sew around that place just to hold the lining piece and the main piece all up together. So I'm going to join the bust now to the upper bodice for the front. So this is how it looks. I'm just going to join them, making sure that the dart here matches up with the one on the main piece for the upper bodice. So I'm just going to sew it this way and to this other end, and I will also do the same thing for the other bust area. So after sewing them together, I forgot to finish up that end, so I'm just going to loosen it up, and I'm going to use my black bias to sew at that end just to give it a neat finishing there. So I'm going to top stitch the black bias there. It's a black velvet bias. I'm going to top stitch it there and do the same thing for the other part of the upper part for the front. So after top stitching the bias, I went ahead to join the two bust area to the main piece for the upper bodice, and this is how beautiful it looks. And I'll bring in the back part now, and this is it. We are going to turn the other back part just to put a bone or boning at that other edge. I didn't bone on the main piece, I boned on the lining piece. So I'm just going to put boning at the center back just to, so it can be able to hold our body very well. That center back boning is very necessary when sewing your corset. So I'm just going to match it there, trying to curve the net to the back where it's supposed to align and sit at the back. So after getting where the net is supposed to come, it's meant to crisscross to the other part of the back. So I'll measure it, and it's 16 inches on my client's body, so I made it about 16 to 15 inches. I think I reduced it because the net was a bit stretchy, so I'm going to sew it there. After stitching it, this is how it looks. So I'm just going to use the center back lining piece to turn the center back main piece. So this is it here. I'm just going to place it this way, and I'll use the wrangling bone to turn it at the center back. I told you initially that the center back boning is very necessary, so I'm just stitching it this way. Just watch what I'm doing and do yours as well. So this is the finished look for the back when I was done stitching them, and this is the front part of it. So now it's time for us to join this dress to the down bodice, and I'll bring in the down bodice now, and this is it. This is the down part of this dress. So I've already turned the down part to the lining piece, and I'm just going to start to the back. I'll bring in the other back side for the upper bodice, and I'm going to join it and do the same thing for the other side back as well. So I will open up that place just to join it, just to achieve a neat finishing. So instead of me stitching it on top of it and still going to weave it, I just open up that place, and I'm just going to stitch it so that all the rough edges will go inside the dress, because I've already turned the down part, so there was no need for me to go through the down part of this. So I'll do it this way and do the same thing for the other side back. So when I was done turning this and turning the front, this is it, and I'm just going to now place the net that is on top of the style, just the net you're seeing on this design on your screen now. So this is the way I'm trying to achieve the net right now, and I'm using my pin to do it. It was quite not easy, but at least I was patient enough to do it. At the same time, I was trying to stretch the net a little so that it won't be, I don't know, it won't fold or gape when the client wears it on the body. So I needed it to be fitted on the body. So this is why I took my time to do this part very well. At this point, I noticed that that part of the net was torn, so I needed to cut it out and remove that torn part, then continue with this tutorial, because I don't know why it's like that in the market. I don't know if any of you have experienced such, like they'll sell to you torn fabric, maybe because you bought it in bulk and you might probably not notice it when you are in the market, and you get to notice it while at home. If you have, let me know in the comment section, because it's really annoying. So I turned the net to the part that is a bit good, and at the down part also it was still torn. Like, it was really annoying, but I just had to find a way around it. So this is how I pleated everything, and it goes to this point. So I will pin it. After pinning it, head over to my sewing machine to stitch it all the way down by the sides. This is how it looks like when I was done top stitching by the sides for this net, and I'm just going to cut out the excess there. And after doing this, now it's time for us to join the dress side to side, and I'm placing the back to the front this way, and I'll head over to my sewing machine to join the sides together. This is how the full length for the back looks like, and this is it when I was done joining the both sides together. So you notice that the upper bodice, the net is a bit, trying to hold the bodice together. So when the client wears it, it will stretch out very well and lap very well on the client's body. So I'm trying to arrange the applique the way it's going to be on this dress, and this is the way it's going to be. I'll head over now to use my tacking needle and my transparent or invisible thread to tack it onto the dress. So some persons use gum, but I don't like using gum for my appliques. I don't know why. I just prefer to patiently tack it to the dress. I just like it that way. It lasts longer that way. So this is me tacking the applique to the dress now, and after tacking the applique to the dress, I will go ahead to also use my needle to tack the other beads on it. Just this way I did. I used my needle and thread, the beading needle, to tack the beads, the glass beads on it. I use glass beads, and I've also inserted my eyelets, and I use stones at that upper part. So this is how the finished look of this beautiful dress. Like, I was so impressed with the outcome of it. So we need to do the down finishing. So to do that, I'm going to use my crinoline to finish up the down just the way it is on this dress on your screen. So I'm going to use my crinoline to finish up the down part. I'll sew it and then flip it over and top stitch on it as well. So this is me now sewing the down part. I will stitch it all the way to the other end, and then fold it inside just like hemming your dress, and then top stitch on it. So guys, when I was done sewing the crinoline on it, this is the finished look of this dress. Like, it's so beautiful. The finishing is top notch. Like, just take a closer look at this dress from the back to the front view. Everything, the tacking on the dress, the beading on the dress is so neat. Though it took a lot of my time to do, but at least it's worth my time. So this is everything. So if you enjoyed this video and you find this video helpful to you, ensure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. For any questions, suggestion and contribution, let me know in the comment section. And thank you all for your support so far. You can also share the video. See you all in my next video. Bye.